Today's poem is by Hollie McNish in the form of a conversation with her pupils about what they would like to be when they leave school. This is another thought-provoking request from my friend Helen Royal. There's not an experienced secondary school teacher in the land who has not had this conversation with a student and been shocked and made despondent by the cold, white, flaccid, dead reality of what is in the youngster's mind. The wishful despair and resignation that make the poor buy lottery tickets or submit to the hard-won, oblivious dreams that drugs can bring. I used to think it clever to quip that the lottery was a tax on optimism, but it's not. It's a hand that waves from out the very pit of pessimism. Like religion itself, it offers unlikely compensation round an invisible corner. Except that, unlike the gods, the winners are seen spraying fizzy wine, manifestly real, on the cover and several pages of the magazine. What this poem hints at is not just the inadequacy of careers advice tacked on to the latter years of schooling, like some D-mob depot's service hatch, but the gobsmacking mismatch between what the teacher has been thinking she's been doing for her students in the several years she's known them, and what is in her students' minds that filter her cultural offerings. Her student hates her schooling, as much for its irrelevance, its failure to translate into her cultural environment, and its loathsome implicit superiority, as for any failure on the student's part to comprehend. It's not the parts, but the gestalt that failed to cross the divide between taught and teacher. Of course, students should be taught to look at Kardashians critically and develop some consumer immunity. But long before that, they should be more used to praise than punishment, grow their self-esteem, learn about being an active citizen, know what most teachers don't know, who their local councillors are, know the different responsibility of each tier of local government, learn how to complain, organise legal protest, seek support, seek opportunities, feel a valued, active part of their community, contribute and be acknowledged. Most of their teachers will have received some of these cultural gifts at home. They and the education system itself need to be aware that for many of their students, the future lies in wish thinking, in kissing frogs, or becoming enrolled in the same grindingly hopeless economic servitude that shackles their parents. Famous for what? I asked my class today what everyone wanted to be, and a lot of them told me a celebrity, in magazines, on television, on football fields, or worldwide singing. We went round the class with everyone giving an answer. Then I asked her, "What do you want to be? What would be your dream job?" She said she was going to be famous, miss. And everybody scoffed. She doesn't talk a lot, you see, just sits and licks her lip gloss in lessons. She said, "Shut up, she's going to become famous." And everybody laughed again. I turned around and asked her, "Of what then?" She looked shocked and didn't understand. I said, "I'd like to hear your plans on how you'd get that life then." I repeated what I said. I said, "Famous for what then? 'Cause I hear people say this all the time. They say it more and more." She twitched a bit and bit her lip and looked down at the floor. She said she just meant really famous, rich, and didn't really know what for. "Well, bigger boobs and Big Brother, that's all been done to death," I said. "A few have famous families who get them in ahead. Actors, sports and music stars, they all work very hard," I said. "People who are famous are not just all the same." She said her best friend kissed a footballer. Now everyone knows her name. I said my best friend saved a life today, and no one knows her face. Loads of folk are photographed for their clothes or who they kiss at night. but some are really famous for more than how they show their life. Famous TV chef, she said. I smile and say, that's right. But there are famous people all around you might not know from sight. People who write your favourite stories, but don't glory in the limelight. Many people who you think look boring, I think you should look twice. 'Cause some are famous for inventing things you use or new discoveries, famous for the places they have seen and been uncovering. Some are famous for the people or the countries that they help. Other folks are famous for the products that you buy, they sell. Some people are famous for their songs or books or magazines. Not those in the photos, but the ones who write behind the scenes. Some people are famous for drawing beautifully or adding things. She said she wished she had shaped lips that kissed like Kim Kardashian. I said, me too, they're really nice. But that would not change anything. She said she cannot sing, miss. I said to her, so what? There are so many other things that you could be famous for. She says she doesn't see those people. How would she ever choose? I said, think about the things that really mean a lot to you. The things that make you happier. The things you love to use. The rules you may not like, or the laws that all affect you. She says she hates the school and the subjects that she's taking. I said, then go become a famous minister of education. 'Cause somebody's in charge of your school, your hospital, your food, your money. Somebody decides on all the stuff you have to learn and study, what age you have to be to do the things you want to do and play. People make up all the rules you have to follow every day. What medicines you have when ill, or how much your work will pay. Decide if you may go to war one day, or how to lower violence rate, or how many playgrounds we should build, how many plants or grass or trees. And none of these people are YouTube hit celebrities. But the effect they have upon your life is huge. Your friends and your family. So all I'm saying is not everyone that does stuff is in magazines, and there are so many options. And you could do so much more. And if you still want to be famous, just remember to find out what for.
Darling, we're late. The curtain descends, everything ends. Too soon, I'll wait. Darling, I'll wait. Will you speak low to me?